Oh, hi, Publio, your microphone.
Hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I was with the microphone off. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna sing a couple of songs preparing our environment for our public meeting tonight. So vibrate. When life lends a hand, it's time to open up your heart. It is time to love one another. It's time to take part. Vibrate away. Loving and serving everyone. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. When we give our heart in charity, our lives are transforming into song. Our dreams become reality, and we join Jesus for eternity. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. When we give our heart in charity, our lives are transforming into song. Our dreams become reality, and we join Jesus for eternity. Song to Mother Zephyrina. Source of love that running, warming up our cold nights, support and comfort, support and comfort. Cascades found down the mountain, calling our children of earth with love in their heart, with love in their heart. Oh, my mother Zephyrina, harvest of wonderful blessing, make your small son a good vision, make your small son a good vision. Now we're gonna have another songs.
Sometimes it's not so easy. Sometimes it's not so close. Sometimes we build our dreams, but then we see them decompose. When you feel down and done, and the sun will shine again on you. Believe you can come through. The rainy days are true. Have little faith in you. Maybe tomorrow you can dream all your dreams again. Though some sorrow remains, it doesn't mean the end. Believe you can come through. The rainy days are true. Sometimes okay to feel blue. Have little faith in you. Dream all your dreams again. Though some sorrow remains, your dreams can get you through. Have little faith in you.
When I go in to pray, I look for my good Jesus, and when I close my eyes, I can feel all His light. I open my heart for all He has to say. He shows me the best way I can enjoy my life. Jesus, they never we apart. Please bring all your light to shine inside my heart. Jesus, Jesus, I can be content. I have your endless love and your protecting hand.
Quand la nuit tombait à Capharnaüm, la maison de pierre si simple, un foyer commun, s'emplissait de paix dans son cœur chacun, recueillait les paroles de lumière du Maître divin. Assez de voilà, peut-être Jésus m'inviterait à sortir un soir dans les jardins de chez Pierre, j'entendrai sa voix à dire tu sens cette brise la lune, tu la vois, il faut repartir tout comme elle, puisque telle est la loi, et pendant ta paix en famille, tous les jours on se reverra. Et pendant ta prière en famille, tous les jours on se reverra.
Blue crystal eyes, colors of the sky, gray bushy beard, Santa's look alike, shine on your brothers on there, suffering, living joy, or in pain. Blue crystal eyes, colors of the sky, gray bushy beard, Santa look alike, shine on your brothers on earth, suffering, living joy, or in pain. Bezerra de Menezes, apostle of the good, receive our prayers and also our heart. Bezerra de Menezes, apostle of the light, place our pain at the feet of Jesus Christ.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our public meeting. We thank everyone for joining us tonight. Before we start, we would like to share a couple of announcements. We ask you to turn off your phone notifications and find a quiet place to stay during this time if it's possible. Our meeting will have a 30 minutes presentation followed by Q&A. Then, after the presentation, we will have a spiritual treatment with passes and magnetized water. So we invite you to set aside a container with water to be magnetized. We would like to announce that our public meeting is being retransmitted today by Continental Conference Americas through their Facebook, and we will also be retransmitted every Wednesday at 8 p.m. East by Kardec Radio through their Facebook and YouTube. For those who want to learn more about Spiritism, Get to Know to Spiritism is a free and online course that happens every Saturday at 5:15 p.m. East. And new class will be starting on fall, so more information will be given soon. Stay tuned. We offer virtual live gospel at home. Did you know about that? The gospel at home is an effective support for your family spiritual harmony. We will motivate and guide you in establishing and maintain the gospel at home by studying meetings. By posting in the chat, you can request it. Please let us know. We are welcome to include your or someone's names on the list of positive vibrations. It could be incarnate or reincarnate. The person you indicate will be assisted by good spirits to provide healing energy and strength goodwill. Please find the link in our chat so you can put the names. We also would like to let you know about the coming out of the Souls of Fraternal meeting on 20 and 21st of May in Winnipeg. So the main topic is Charity the Way, and the other topics include Spiritism Center, Family, Vices, and Depression, and the practice of the Alta de Souza Fraternal campaign. So more information and links for registration will be posted soon. And now I'd like to invite our brother Publio to join us for our opening prayer.
Hello, Marcel. How are you today?
Hi Publio, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very happy to be here again
Yeah.
and get this invitation to do our initial prayer. I'm very happy because it's very, very important. It's very uh, life when you pray and ask for help. So that's
Yeah.
what we're going to do right now. So
Yes.
for this moment, I'd like to invite you to follow our words. If it's possible, if you want, close your eyes to make better to follow those instructions. So in these moments, let's bring to our mind the figure of Jesus Christ, our Master, our beloved brother, asking him to intercede with God, asking the permission for us to start our public meeting tonight. Also, allow the good spirits to be with us, inspiring the people that is listening to us, inspire the speaker tonight, and we can absorb all the instructions coming from your gospel of love. So be with us today and forever. So be it.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you,
Publio.
Thank you, Marcel.
So the topic of today's meeting is the greatest commandment from chapter 15. Without charity, there is no salvation, and items 4 and 5, which will be facilitated by our brother Lucas from London, Ontario, Canada. Everyone is welcome to write comments and questions in the chat, and we will address the questions at the end of the talk. And now we invite our tonight's speaker. Welcome, Lucas. One minute. It's coming.
Your hand.
According to according to Spiritism. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much once again for your time. Thank you, Veronica, for this invitation, Spiritism Canada. It's a great pleasure to be back. I'm really happy to be here tonight, talking a little bit more about the gospel according to Spiritism. All right, so tonight's topic is the chapter 15, items 4 and 5 of the Gospel according to Spiritism. Without charity, there is no salvation, the greatest commandment. This is very interesting. I have just one quick story about Chico Xavier. He once said that if he was told that without Spiritism there was no salvation, he wouldn't be a Spiritist. But because he learned that without charity there's no salvation, then he trusted this beautiful doctrine, which is true. There is no church, there is no book, there is nothing that will save us but charity. And more specifically tonight, we'll be talking about the greatest commandment. Okay, we'll see what it is. What's the greatest commandment? So what is it? Is there a rank of commandments? Is there one that's better than the other? Number 1, number 2, number 10, for example, like we had before. To understand this a little bit better, we will talk a little bit about history, about Moses' previous 10 commandments. Why did he provide humanity or the Hebrews at the time with the 10 commandments? We need to understand that over 2,000, maybe 3,000 years ago, when the Hebrews were in the desert, those people were lost. They needed guidance. They needed someone to be strong and take them to the promised land. And of course, it was hard to obey when they had so many difficulties. And of course, we know humanity back then was not prepared for the messages that Jesus was going to bring 1,000 years later. So the 10 commandments, if you don't remember, they are, you shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make unto you any graven images. I don't know if you remember, they have the golden ox. You will not take the name of the Lord God in vain. Remember the Sabbath or Saturday and keep it holy. Honor your father and your mother. You shall not kill. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness. And you shall not covet. That means to desire what is other people's. They needed that because they didn't know where to start. This was just an start. This was not the end of all the commandments of all the law. But of course, for a long time, this was necessary to control and teach people back then, because as I said, they were not ready yet for Jesus' message. Jesus came 1,000 years later to bring an extension to all this that Moses brought to that people. And then with Jesus' advent, he brought something bigger, more complete, more complex, and of course, more fulfilling. Let's see what it was, right? So Jesus was always being tested, we know. They always wanted to compromise him and get rid of him, right? And of course, his revolutionary ideas. So the Hebrews, the Romans, was he a danger? Was he a danger for those people? Because, as I said, he had revolutionary ideas, but in the sense that could not only change the status quo at the time, but also humanity. And so it did. It changed everything. But of course, Jesus knew all of that. and he was prepared. He was wise. We know that. And he gave us the best answer humanity could ever get. So let's read a little bit about the story, this passage here. But when the Pharisees had heard that he had put the Sadducees to silence, they were gathered together. Then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him. Of course, they were always doing that, thinking he was going to say something that would compromise himself. And then the lawyer said, Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law? We know that Jesus came not to, he said that the first chapter of the gospel according to Spiritism, he said he didn't bring to break the law, to destroy the law, the previous law. That means the 10 commandments, for example. He came to add to it, to bring more, to complement. Okay, so Jesus said then, you will, of course, you must love your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and the great commandment. Everybody was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. The second one is like unto it. So this is similar. You will love your neighbor as yourself. I'm pretty sure they didn't understand that back then very well, just like it's hard for us to understand it nowadays, right? On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. So this is in Matthew. Matthew said that, bringing Jesus' words. So Christ resumed all his moral teachings in the need for charity and humility. Of course, he taught us so much, but if we could sum it up in just a few words, if we could just somebody quickly asks, what is Jesus' message? We could say that this is only what we need, right? Love God above all things and love our neighbors. This seems simplistic, but it's not. It's actually very, very complex and very important, so we can understand his messages. Let's talk more about these two specific commandments. So charity and humility. So this is the only path to salvation. Selfishness and pride are the paths to ruin. So this is what destroys us. Selfishness is the opposite of charity because we only think about ourselves. We don't care about our neighbors. And pride, yeah, it destroys our humility. If we're proud, we'll never be humble. So this principle is to be found and is found to be formulated on the following precise terms. So love your God with all your soul and your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets are contained in these two commandments. So yeah, here it says, there would be no mistake in the understanding of the meaning of love for God, for our neighbor. So he wanted to explain a little further, because he knew there would be misunderstanding, people would make mistakes. They did, of course, and nowadays we still do that because we still don't fully understand what means love God above all things, our neighbors like ourselves. So, and there is the second commandment, which is similar to the first. This means that's not possible to truly love God without loving your neighbor, nor to love your neighbor without loving God. Straight away, all that you do against your neighbor, you also do against God. So this was a slap on our face, because sometimes we say, oh, I love God, I love Jesus, I'll do everything for God and Jesus. We strongly believe that we're faithful, that we trust in God, that we would do anything, right, for them. However, sometimes we don't like our neighbors. When I say our neighbors, of course, it's not the one who lives close to us, everyone around us, all humanity. This is not easy to do. It's not an easy task at all. But we need to understand the complexity of these statements or commandments, right? Because it seems, as I said, simplistic, but it's definitely not. what does uh, loving God mean? What's our neighbor? Who is our neighbor, right? So let's proceed and understand a little bit more about what Jesus was trying to tell us. So, what does loving God mean? Okay, so to love God above all things is to recognize nature as the work of His goodness. It is to thank Him daily for everything He grants us. So, what does it mean? It means being thankful, right? Admiring His creation, admiring nature. So, when we look around and sometimes we don't pay attention to what we're saying, we don't see all nature. Everything is nature is perfect. Nature is God's creations. When I say nature, it's not only trees, not only rivers, but everything around us, all minerals, all plants, all animals, the sky, right? Understanding the universe, right? Taking care of our siblings in creation, the animals, the plants, preserving them, helping nature to thrive, not destroying it. We also need to make a good use of the resources and opportunities we have. So, as I was saying, use wisely what God provided us. That means loving God, being thankful for breathing the air we breathe, for having nature around us, for having birds singing and bringing this beautiful message of creation. This is loving God. Um, so, to love God above all things is to have recourse to Him as the support of our weakness. It is to praise Him at every instant as the source of our courage and joy. So, this is also part of it. That means believing and trusting in something we cannot see, but just feel. So, we admire God, we admire God's creation, but we also need to trust God's will. We need to trust that there is something bigger than ourselves, bigger than humanity, something that is the supreme intelligence of the universe, right? As the Spiritist book says, that's the first question. What is God? So that's the supreme intelligence of the universe. That's what we need to do. As we do that, as we understand there's something bigger than ourselves that takes care of us, that is smarter and wiser than we are, because sometimes we're so proud, we think, oh, I know everything. I know science. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in anything. I'm at the top. We're not. We're definitely not. We're so low in the scale of evolution. So, yeah, admiring all God's creation and trusting God's will and everything that He provides us, being faithful, respectful to everything around us, the smallest creatures to the biggest ones, uh, anyone. This is loving God, right? So, loving God is essential. If we love God, if we admire all His creation, of course, we're going to admire and respect and love our neighbors who are also God's creation. Let's see more about it. So, how to love our neighbors? Definitely not an easy task, right? So, here it says we must give our brothers and sisters the same treatment we would like to receive if we were in their place. Wish them all that we wish for ourselves. Um, Rejoice in their joys and console them in their pains and afflictions. So we must put ourselves into their shoes, right, in the place of our neighbors, and try to give them the same attention that we would like to receive if we were in the same situation. So if somebody's suffering, of course, it's hard for us to suffer the same way. Maybe we'll never go through the same thing, but we need to stop and think, oh, what is this person going through? Is there something I can do to help? What if I was going through the same thing, right? How would I like to be helped? So we all know that. We all know how we would like to be helped, how we would like to be treated. So let's do the same thing to our neighbors, to the person around us. So we should treat everyone, rich, poor, black, white, national or foreign, the same way we'd like to be treated, regardless of the circumstances, right? There will always be some circumstances that will test us, like, oh, this person needs help. However, he or she didn't treat you well in the past, or this person did something terrible to other people, so they do not deserve the attention or the respect, etc. But that's not true. Everyone, anyone and everyone needs respect, needs attention, needs love. So when we say neighbors, it's everyone around us. Okay, so therefore, as it's not possible to love God without practicing charity towards our neighbors, then all of mankind's obligations are resumed in the maxim: without charity, there is no salvation. So if we don't respect our neighbors, who are also God's creations, we're not respecting God, right? If we treat other people badly, we're not respecting God, because we're not respecting his creation, right? So how can we say we love God if we don't respect other people, or even other animals or plants or anything around us? Like, oh, I love God, I go to the church or to the Spiritist center, to the cult, I pray every day. However, I produce a lot of garbage. I don't recycle. I don't care about it. I pollute. I swear other people when I'm mad, or I shout all the time and I swear. If you do that, are you really loving your neighbor? Are you really loving God? It doesn't make sense. Why? Because here, again, charity. It's not possible to do one without doing the other. How can you love creation, if you disrespect something or someone who's also God's creation? So everything is linked to charity. What is charity? Of course, we've been talking about this for a while. I think last week's message was about charity, right? We need to understand what charity really is. We could even say that charity is love, and love is charity. Let's see. So we need to practice charity. We must cultivate charity and humility. For the first one, charity teaches us to forget ourselves in favor of our neighbors. And the second one frees us from human vanities, approaching everyone in the condition of brothers. So how do we do that in favor of our neighbors? By practicing charity, we combat selfishness. We might be tired, sick, we might not have enough resources to do something, at least we believe we might not have. However, if we have 1 minute or 2 minutes, we can help other people. We are forgetting ourselves. Oh, I'm tired, I didn't sleep well, but somebody needs help for just a couple minutes or 30 minutes, an hour. Why not go and help? Like, forget yourself for a minute, for a little bit, and help other people, right? By exercising humility, we free ourselves from pride, which is the poison that destroys us. For example, very often we hear people saying things that hurt us, or things that we disagree with. But sometimes we're proud and we think, oh, I'm not going to help this person because he or she is different than me. His or her ideas are totally the opposite. So they don't deserve my time. They don't deserve my efforts. That's not true. You can still work together and help these people, but maybe together reach an agreement, right? So that's what we do. We only think about charity, material charity, and that's not the only one. There's something greater than that. So what does charity again mean? Let's see. Is it giving food to a hungry person, donating clothes, helping a stranger, helping without expecting anything in return, and serving others? Yes, but not only. So these are just a few examples of what can be achieved by sharing the virtue of charity with our neighbors. So we can donate clothes when, especially we do that when we don't want some specific clothes anymore, or things we don't want anymore because they're old, not because we know people need it, it's just because we don't want it. So that's easy. Uh, Donating money, food, for example, we go to the food bank and bring some food. It is important to do that. Yes, it is. But I would say that's easy. Just go to the grocery store, buy some food, donate to the food bank. It will help a lot of people. That's important. We need to do material challenge. Why? Because we are still in a material world. So we still need to do it. But also, charity means sharing some of your time with those in need of a friend. As I said, sometimes we're very tired and we don't want to talk to anyone. We don't want to waste our time. We think we're wasting our time with someone we don't like, with somebody we think it's not important to us, or for any reason. But sometimes all people need is a word of consolation, right? Or sometimes just to be heard. So if you are sharing your time with someone that needs to talk, that's also charity. And that's the hardest type of charity, right? Because sometimes we think we're above everything, above everyone, we're more important. Am I going to spend some time with somebody I don't know, with someone I don't care about, or somebody I believe does not or should not uh, need uh, to be helped because he or she did something awful in the past? So, also being silent when you don't agree with what's being said. Okay, we need to understand that some people are not ready yet, or sometimes we are not ready yet to hear or to understand, or to be at a certain place at a certain time. Let's just be there for that person if he or she needs, and then that's it. Let's be silent. Silence is gold. So we need to forgive and respect. If we forgive other people because for some reason they did something harmful to us, we are loving them. Love does not mean you have to hug that person, bring them to your home, talk to them all the time, and treat them the same way you treat your mother, your father, your siblings, your loved ones, because we're not ready for that yet. This is just this is a challenge, right? So forgiving and respecting is the beginning of everything. Here's the question 886 of the Spirit's book. Uh, the question is, what is the true meaning of the word charity as used by Jesus? So this is part of the second commandment, loving your neighbor. So how do we do that? Right? So forgiving and respecting is the beginning of love. So your enemy, as they say, if your enemy, you don't like your enemy, they did something terrible to you in the past. Of course, as I said, you're not going to love that person as you love your family member. And that's not what Jesus meant. Um, but how can we start loving if we don't forgive, if we don't respect that person? Okay, so we can start, of course, with our family members and maybe our work colleagues, because they are the ones that are closest to us. And very often they are our hardest challenges, right? Because we are with them all the time. We know them very well. And of course, they know us. So Jesus said, the spirits answered to Allan Kardec, benevolence for everyone. That means treating everybody well, doing good things for other people. Like you don't need to go beyond what they expect, but start small, like just saying hello, thank you, good morning, good afternoon, not looking them with a different look, indulgence towards the imperfections of others. That means everybody's imperfect, just like we are imperfect. We all are. So as we know that, we should not be judging. Don't judge other people, because we also are imperfect. We also have a lot of problems, issues. So if we start understanding that people are just like us, everybody deserves respect, love, um, being treated well. We are it's love, right? It's, as I said, it's not a relationship like we have with our loved ones, but it's a beginning. One day, of course, that will happen as we are more evolved, as humanity is more evolved. We will love everyone around us, not only our family members, our friends, our spouses and children. We're going to love our neighbors, the one next door, the one far from us, everybody on the planet, the whole celestial humanity. We're going to love them the same way, because we will treat everyone well. We're going to indulge uh, their imperfections, since we are imperfect as well, and we're going to forgive the offenses, right? So if we forgive, that's the great start. Forgive does not mean forgetting, right? We're human. We cannot forget, because if we forget, we might do the same thing again. They might do the same thing again. So it's okay to remember what people did to us, but we still need to forgive, because we know they are imperfect. We know that we maybe in this life or previous lives we did the same thing. So let's forgive. All right. And so here is the true objective of charity, right? It is to dignify the one who's benefited, just as it magnifies itself in the silence and anonymity of the other who exercises it. Okay, so as I said before, charity can be material, can be spiritual, and it's an ennobling aspect of moral nature. Okay, love is the beginning and the end of everything. So when we're loving our neighbors, when we're loving God, and we're doing charity, as we know, what your right hand gives, the left hand should not know. If we're helping other people and telling everyone we're doing what we're doing, it's not because you want to help. It's because you want to be known as a good person or a better person. But is that really what we're being? A better person if we are humiliating the ones we're helping? For example, we give someone something they need, we lend money, we spend our time helping other people, but we're always bragging about it. We're always, oh, I did this, I did that, I helped this person, I helped that group of people. Yeah, thank you, thank you. So we're getting here the what we're looking for. People will say, "Oh, you're great," but God knows. God knows what we're doing. God will. We're gonna pay the price for that, because if you're truly loving someone, you don't care about recognition, right? The true recognition comes from God. Okay, so as I said, loving everyone, loving everything is the beginning and the end of everything. That's the purpose of life. That's our purpose, to love everyone, to evolve through love. So we can start one step at a time. We can all make it. Start whenever you can, with anything you can. Just love your family members, understand what they're going through, forgive them, respect everyone. And after your family, your work colleagues, your house neighbors, um, your school, everyone around us, people on the street, just a generous look, a generous act of benevolence goes a long way. Okay, so this is the message for today. May these two teachings of Jesus be with us always, because that's all we need. Let's love and praise God above all things. Let's love our neighbors as we love ourselves, because we do love ourselves, right? So let's love our neighbors as well. Thank you all so much for your time tonight. It's been a pleasure. I'll be here for more questions if you have any. I appreciate the opportunity. God bless you, and see you next time. Thank you so much.
Oh, hi, Lucas. Thank you.
Hi, Marceli.
too. Thank you so much for your presentation, reflections on this topic. How are you today?
I'm pretty well. Thank you so much for having me tonight. It's always a pleasure to be with you guys talking about Spiritism, about the gospel.
We are very happy to have you here tonight and listen this beautiful talk. We have some questions in the chat. Let's see. Um, the first question actually is not a question, but it's a comment from Rodrigo Villar. Jesus' teachings are so profound that we need to reflect deeply to try to truly understand this message. Yeah, but we do have a question from Rodrigo. So, what does Spiritism teach us regarding the greatest commandment? How do we apply these teachings in our lives?
Well, that's a great question, and Spiritism teaches us so much, but of course, it's a lot to learn. And just like Jesus' time, people were wanted to simplify things, and Jesus came to simplify things. Uh, we had the Ten Commandments before, so of course he would follow a lot of rules. There are a lot of rules we must follow, not only God's rules but human rules. But there is, as Jesus tried to explain to us, that there is one above everything. The greatest commandment is that is to love God, to love everyone. So by doing so, you're actually fulfilling all the other laws, all the other rules, all the commandments. Because if you love your neighbor, if you love God, if you love everyone and everything around you, you're actually fulfilling all the rules. If you love people around you, if you love your family members, whoever, you're actually not committing any crime, you're not doing anything wrong, you're actually respecting everyone, because that's what love is, respect. It's also understanding, uh, treating others the way we want to be treated. So uh, I know there's a lot of rules, but if we understand just the simple one, charity or love, if we're
Mhm.
doing charity towards other people, we are fulfilling all the other requirements. Let's put it this way.
Yeah, when Jesus came, he transformed the Ten Commandments into, right? So if you follow the two, you are following the 10, right?
Yeah, and actually they're pretty much the same, because if you're following the first one, if you truly love God, you are going to love all
Every, yeah.
God's creation, and that includes everyone, your neighbor, not your neighbor, the whole creation, the whole universe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true. We have another question from Rodrigo. Is charity love in action?
Yes, it definitely is. So if you're practicing charity, that's because you love what you're doing. That's because you're putting love into what you're doing. If you're treating people well, if you're happy, if you're helping those in need, that's charity. That's love. You only do that because you love what you're doing, because you love God's creation.
Yeah. And Publio has a question for you. So, hello, Lucas. These teachings from Jesus is not hard to understand, but hard to put in practice. It is true. How can Spiritism help us to put in practice these teachings?
Hey, Publio, thank you so much for your question. So, well, I wouldn't say they are not hard to understand, because we consider like ourselves as humans, as we are right now, not so evolved. We usually see love just something between people we like, people around us, like family members, spouses, the romantic love or family love. We don't understand yet love or charity as something bigger. That's what it actually is. That means loving everyone and everything, because we're all brothers and sisters. We all part of God's creation. So as we understand that by treating your boss just like you treat your mother, your sister just like you treat your cousins, your neighbor, everyone the same, everything would be easier, everything would be better. So it is hard to put into practice, because we know we're selfish, We don't have all the knowledge right of in the world. Yeah, sometimes we're, oh, I'm just tired, so I'm just going to behave this way, and because it's easier to do so. But it's not easier, it's actually harder, because we start creating this kind of pattern that push people around from us. Oh, I don't like that person because I just don't understand the way he or she is, or I don't like what they the way they act. We're not trying to truly understand them, we're not respecting their ways. So that's not love. I would say, because we're still beginning to understand what truly love is. Living in a society so complex as the ones we live today, it's it means we have to create this deeper bond, this connection with everyone, no matter how different they are.
Mhm. Yeah. And the last question is from Marcela. A good action to someone else without love is still considered charity? It's
Well, I
a
would say it could,
good
however,
question.
not true charity, right? Because what charity really means, what true charity is, it means practicing love, right? Respecting, loving, understanding, fulfilling other people's needs. So you can help other people by just donating what you don't have anymore. Is that truly charity? You're helping other people for sure. If you're donating money, if you're donating clothes you don't want anymore, but God knows what you're doing, and you, of course, you know it yourself, like it's
It's our
inside you.
heart.
That's correct. So you can help is always good, uh, but is that really going to change who you are? That's the most important thing. You can help other people just because you want recognition. Well, that's good for the moment, but is that really changing? Is that really saving you? Jesus said there's no salvation but in charity, and charity is love. If you're just helping because you want recognition, you didn't really understand what charity is. You're just doing something because you think you deserve to be praised, but in the end we know there will be consequences.
Yeah, and actually we have another question.
Oh yeah,
Luciano Joes, yeah,
that's
added his question here. Do you think it is more difficult to do charity at home?
yes, I do think so, because we are all the time with our spouses, parents, grandparents, siblings, and children, and sometimes just because of that we think, oh, they're gonna love me regardless. I'm gonna treat them just the way I want, because yeah, I'm here. They chose to be with me. I chose to be with them, so they deserve it. That's not true. They are here. We're all together because we chose to be together, to learn together. These are the first ones we should start uh, charity, practicing charity with. But I would say it's probably the hardest. Like, our family is our hardest challenge most of the time, right? A lot of parents, they have issues with their children, and that happens for a reason, because we're here to learn together. So I would say it could be harder. Of course, we're not gonna love people we don't know, our enemies, the same way we love people we are with every day. That's not what Jesus meant. As long as you start step by step, like baby steps, like just respecting people, just by not saying anything bad about them, by not judging, it's a start.
Thank you so much, Lucas. It
You're
was
welcome.
really nice to have you here, and you will always be welcome. Okay?
All right, I
We wait
appreciate it.
you
It's always a
soon.
pleasure to be here with you guys.
Have
Thank
a
you
good
so
night.
much.
Thank you. So, thank you for your participation in the chat. And now we will move to the preparation for tonight's spiritual treatment. PAS is the transfusion of spiritual energy with the goal of assisting with our physical, emotional, and mental balance. PASes help us to restore a state of harmony and peace by replacing negative energy with healthy and positive energy. In order to receive the best benefits from passes, please follow the audio instructions or remain in prayer. You may close your eyes to help with mentalization. During the pass, the water you set aside will also absorb the spiritual energy that your family and you can benefit from. We will now make a prayer in preparation for the Pass, which will be our closing prayer as well. Okay, so I invite you, everyone, to close our eyes if you wish, and then elevate our thought in our Heavenly Father. Thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to be here one more Tuesday in order to learn more about your teachings. We thank you, our brother Lucas, who brought us such an enlightening explanation about the greatest commandment, which is the love. May all of us practice these teachings in our lives, loving ourselves, loving our neighbors, and be a better person. We thank you, Master Jesus, for your love, your mercy, and your faith on us, and for everything you have done to us. We ask you and the good Spiritist to bless us and our family and provide us everything we need to be a better person. Please let us spread your love over the planet so that we can make our world a better and loving place. Stay with us today and always. So be it.
Let us now prepare ourselves for the moment of the passes and the magnetization of water. Let's now calm our hearts, breathing in and out. Pay attention to your body. Focus on your breath, and let yourself be carried by this energy. Let your thoughts pass without judging them. Let them flow. Allow this light to be the beacon that guides you, and allow these words to penetrate your energy. Make each word an anchor of gratitude, faith, and trust. With the purpose of healing, which takes away my faith, healing every feeling of separation, pain. Let it all dissolve in this moment, leaving only love, gratitude, and trust. We ask God for the presence of our guardian angel and the friendly spirits who welcome us into this enlightened environment of our Spiritist Center. We open our plexus of love and forgiveness by mentalizing the light surrounding our hearts. Find a quiet and a comfortable place to begin the mentalization process. Remove all worries from your thoughts. We ask that during the pass, you breathe slowly and deeply. Let your body relax and surrender yourself to a deep meditation. Calmly imagine divine energies and soft and colorful light surrounding you in an environment of peace and spiritual warmth. Entrusting God with your most intimate desires, raise your thoughts to Jesus and the emissaries of the spiritual environment. The Pass begins with the cleansing of your soul. Imagine a waterfall of crystal clear water pouring over us, removing all the feelings that keep you away from faith and trust. Feel the energy of this water bathing you. Deeply breathe in, feeling peace and harmony. Allow this water to wash away all the impurities and spiritual larvae, washing away all the sorrows and resentment, any feelings of hatred and revenge that hold us back and causes harm, not only from this life, but past ones as well. Now visualize spiritual doctors around applying magnetic cleansing passes, sanitizing your spiritual body of all sadness and negative energy. Mentalize these negative thoughts and feelings being washed away, evaporating from your soul, like water evaporating into thin air. And being carried far away from your mind. Surround yourself with the faith that bathes your being, bringing clarity and lucidity, rebalancing every cell in your body. May the water envelop all pain and bring the clarity of opportunity that chooses peace. The answer arises in our hearts, freeing us from all evil, and freeing all who we have caused evil and who have caused us evil. Washing away all the connections that bind us. Even though we may not understand, you're freeing yourself from all that causes us harm. Feel this cleansing penetrate your soul and release. Now that we are spiritually cleansed, imagine yourself surrounded by the light of love in the hands of Jesus. At this moment, sing words of faith and gratitude, being faithful to the light that exists in me, planted by the zealous Father. Imagine the sunlight that surrounds and enraptures, freeing us from the chains of everything that holds us down, strengthening your faith. Allow yourself to trust in this light. Surrender to it. Involved in pleasant feelings and feeling relieved to receive the strengthening lights. Mentalize your spiritual mentors now applying divine light for the strengthening of your mind and your emotions, leaving you feeling emotionally revitalized. Let us now mentalize the magnetization of this water. May we mentalize all the friendly spirits, magnetizing this water, and filling it with everything that our bodies, mind, and soul need, so that it may be of help to us when we drink it after the pass. Thank you, God.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We will be back next Tuesday here on Spiritism Canada and Continental Concaffras Americas at 8:30 p.m. East, and next Wednesday on Kardec Radio at 8 p.m. East. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube from the Spiritism Canada and the Spiritism Group Path of the Light. Have a good night.
Let us preach the love. And this Lord already won, therefore will be much more. Get up, look at the sky, in the earth, in the flowers, with sunshine. Let's hold our hands and be together on His road. Then we take this same love and spread it to the world.